Good evening to everybody. I didn't speak to her. We got a roll call, please, Jerry.
Chair, this is Simon. Do you hear me?
Hi, Simon. How you doing?
Oh, thank you.
Gina Argento, Bogdan Bakarowski, Lisa Bamonte, Gina Barros, Tion Brooks, Eric Rosades, Tom Burrows, Iris Cabrera,
Here.
Phil Caponegro,
Here.
Frank Carbone, Stephen Chesler,
Here.
Michael Chiricella, Teresa Cinciata, Giovanni D'Amato,
Here.
Erin Drinkwater, Arthur Dibinowski,
Here.
T. Willis Elkins, Julia Amanda Foster, Chairperson Fuller,
Here.
Joel Goldstein, Joel Gross,
Here.
Katie Denny Horowitz,
Here.
Sonia Iglesia,
Here.
Moisha Indig, Bozena Kaminsky, Ryan Coonan, Yoel Landau, Marie Leanza,
Here.
Abraham Leibovitz, Yoel Lowe, Trina McKeever,
Here.
Sante Maselli,
Here.
Toby Moskowitz, Martin Needleman, Rabbi Niederman, Karen Nieves, Mario Damark, Janice Peterson, Dana Racklin,
Present.
Bella Sable, Isaac Sofer, Robert Solano, Del Teague,
Here.
Tommy Torres, William Vega,
Here.
Maria Vieta, Stephen Weidberg.
Here.
I heard more than one voice and you stepped on each other. Maria Vieira?
Sorry, Jerry, present.
Thank you. Stephen Weidberg. Simon Weiser.
Here.
Jerry, this is Erin Drinkwater. I'm here.
Jerry, this is Mike Chiricella, present.
Karen Nieves, present.
21, including all the aforementioned, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Jerry. Tonight, everybody by now know that the executive board voted to start our meetings at 6 and to end them at 10. Hopefully, we can stay within some structure, and the chat will be turned off. If you have a question, put it in the Q&A. And the first item on the agenda is New York State DOT Commission RRC. RRC is RRC here, New York Independent Register, Redistricting Commission. Is there anybody here from redistricting, the commission? Okay, we'll go to item number 2, DOT regarding project of safe route to schools, PS 380. Is there anybody here from DOT to present on that item?
Hi there, my name is Rahala. I'm with DOT. Okay to continue?
Yes, I can hear you.
Great, thank you. I'll be passing off this presentation to Brett from our contractor's office to make this presentation. It will be a capital project in the vicinity of several schools in the area. So I'll kick it off to him to continue.
Hello, this is Brett Levy from AECOM. We're the design consultant. I'm just going to need permission to share my screen so I can share the presentation. Yeah, is there someone that has the ability to allow me
Yeah,
to share?
I'm trying to turn that on right
Okay.
now. I have
Okay.
you, but I'm waiting for it to load up.
Okay.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, I
And
still,
it
it's
just,
still,
it's still
okay.
not up there, right? Oh, yeah,
Yeah, the button's still grayed out.
Yeah, I'm trying to, it should go, it's passing to
Oh,
you.
okay.
You got it?
All right. Yeah, it just came up.
Okay. Is that music on your part?
Uh, wait, yeah. I'm not sure where that music came from. Okay.
Lag it up. Huh? Lag it up.
Can we just have everybody else on mute? Because that might be the problem.
I don't think everybody's making the music.
I can
Yeah, everyone is muted except for Brett.
okay. All right, you guys should be able to see now. Can everybody see?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
See it, Brett.
So this is the Safe Routes to School project for PS 380 in Williamsburg. These are the four intersections that for this project that fall within Community Board 1. We'll talk about each of them in detail shortly. This is a map of the project area. We have PS 380 here, and our four intersections are Division Avenue, Marcy Avenue, and Williamsburg Street West, Union Avenue, Lorimer Avenue, and Harrison Avenue, Wallabot Street, Lorimer Street, and Lee Avenue, and Wallabot Street, Lynch Street, and Bedford Avenue.
Brett, the slide didn't change. We still have the original.
And-
Everybody else does.
And we
Okay,
have a
now
map here of some of the other schools in the area as well.
With this, okay.
So the project goal is to reduce vehicle and pedestrian conflicts and reduce accidents, as well as to improve traffic safety. The next few slides are going to be examples of some of the general improvements that we're going to be applying at these intersections, and then we're going to go through each intersection and describe how they're going to be implemented at each location. So the first improvement is a curb extension. This is an example of one in the top image. Basically, it extends the sidewalk at the corner out into the street. It provides additional waiting space for pedestrians. It reduces the crossing distance for pedestrians. It improves line of sight for oncoming vehicles, and it also reduces the speed of turning vehicles. Our bottom image here is a median pedestrian refuge island. It provides a space for pedestrians to wait in the middle of the street, and it also calms turning vehicle traffic. We're also going to be putting in repainted pavement markings at intersections. That includes repainted crosswalks and parking lane markings. We're also going to be upgrading all ramps to be ADA compliant, and traffic signals are going to be upgraded to be ADA compliant as well, with accessible pedestrian signals, which are which are audible signals. So our first intersection here is Wallabot Street, Lynch Street, and Bedford Avenue. This is the aerial view. Take note of the island in the middle of the intersection here and the hatched pavement markings on either side of the island. This is going to be where our main area of improvement, which we'll see in the coming slides. These are just these are images. This is on the left is that hatched area I just pointed out. It's going to be expanded it's going to be built into an expanded concrete sidewalk area. And on the right, we just are showing an example of a corner that currently has non-compliant ramps, and it's going to be upgraded with new ramps. And then we have our plan view here. Everything you see shaded in blue are existing sidewalk areas that are going to be reconstructed, and everything you see in yellow is currently at street level, but it's going to be reconstructed at sidewalk level. So this is in the middle. You can see the island here. I pointed out in the aerial image. The blue is the existing island, but it's going to be expanded to cover this whole area shown in yellow for an expanded concrete island area. And we're also going to have a curb extension over here, expanding this part of the sidewalk out into the street. And all other corners are shown in blue are going to be reconstructed with new ADA compliant ramps. Our next intersection, here's the aerial view of Lee Avenue, Lorimer Street, and Wallabot Street. Again, while we're on the aerial, take note of these hatched pavement areas. This is where we're going to be building new concrete islands and curb extensions. These images here on the left is one of the hatched areas where the traffic signal that's currently in the asphalt street. This is going to be built out with concrete as an expanded curb extension. And on the right here is a hatched area that's going to be built out into a raised concrete island. And here's our plan view. Again, all the corners shown in light blue are going to be reconstructed with new ramps, and then all these two areas in yellow are going to be new elevated concrete areas for pedestrians. Our next intersection is Division Avenue, Marcy Avenue, and Williamsburg Street West, where it goes over the Brooklyn Queens Expressway. On this intersection, we'll talk a little bit more about it on the following slides. But there's currently a Jersey barrier on this slip lane here, and it's currently not usable. We're going to be opening that up, and we'll show a diagram of that in a little bit. On the left here, this is an island that is currently very small. We're going to be expanding it to be a larger island with new ADA compliant ramps. This is the Jersey barrier I was mentioning that's going to come out so that this part of the roadway becomes usable. On the right here, this is just showing one of the corners that currently has no ramp at all. This is going to be reconstructed to have a ramp.
With regard to lead, NYCHA started its Tempo program last May to address and prioritize lead abatement in the apartments where children under 6 live. This is part of the lead action plan, which
Yeah, I'm sorry, did someone say something?
NYCHA works on how with a new stricter lead standard that goes into effect starting January.
Is this person part of your team, Brett?
Auditing the Tempo program since started in May.
Joe Gross, please mute yourself.
Okay, I'm sorry. I thought I was a question to me. Okay. So these are more site photos of the area. On the left is one of the existing corners that's going to be reconstructed with a curb extension and new ramps. And same thing on the right. This area, as you can see, there's no ramp going into the crosswalks. This is going to be reconstructed as well. This is our plan view of the area. You can see in yellow here, this is the area in blue is the current size of the island. It's going to be expanded to this area in yellow for a larger island, safer waiting space. We're going to have another curb extension here shown in yellow. And this red line, this is the existing Jersey barrier that's going to come out. And this area is going to serve as a left turning area for vehicles going from Marcy Avenue to Williamsburg Street West. And we're going to talk more about that on this next slide. On the left, this is the current movement that those vehicles are making to turn from Marcy Avenue onto Williamsburg Street West. They're going into the main part of the intersection and crossing 3 crosswalks to make that turn. When the intersection is reconstructed and that Jersey barrier comes out, they're going to turn through here. There's going to be only 1 crosswalk here that they cross, and those vehicles are going to stay out of the main part of the intersection. Our final intersection is Union Avenue, Lorimer Avenue, and Harrison Avenue. On this aerial view, take note of the hatched area on Harrison Avenue between Lorimer Street and Union Avenue. That's going to be one of our widened sidewalk areas, which we'll see in a minute. Again, this is on the left is an image of that current hatched area that's going to be widened. That's going to have a widened sidewalk. And on the right, we're showing an image of an existing existing crossing that doesn't have a crosswalk at all. We'll be putting in a new crosswalk there. And here's our plan view. This is in the yellow area. This is that hatched area that's going to have that's going to be constructed as a widened sidewalk. We're going to have an additional bump out here, and the areas shown in blue are existing sidewalk that are going to be reconstructed, and all ramps in those areas will be upgraded to be ADA compliant. So in addition to those main improvements, we should mention that there's no right-of-way issues involved here. All work is going to happen within the DOT right-of-way. There'll be incidental utility work. We'll have relocation of signals and light poles, and also relocation and replacement of catch basins. As for the project schedule, the entire project has 17 locations. These are the 4 locations that are within this community board. So the final design of the whole project of all 17 intersections is going to be complete in summer or fall of 2022. And then the construction of the entire project is anticipated to begin in spring 2023. And we're expecting that we're expecting that the entire project as a whole will take 2 years, but each individual location, which will be constructed separately, will take about 2 to 4 months each. And that brings us to the end of the presentation. I'm happy to field any questions now.
Thank you, Brett. Brett, does this project require a board vote?
DOT can respond to that if that's required.
We are looking for board approval if possible. So if the board approves, that would be greatly, that'd be very helpful for us in our capital processes. I don't know if Rhonda, if you want to add to that.
Thank you. Are there any questions? I don't see any hands up.
Dallas, I have a question. It's Ryan, but I can't raise my hand.
Okay.
Hand is on the bottom of the panelist list to the right, all the way to the bottom.
Ah, now I see it. Thank you. My question is at the Marcy intersection. I know because I do a lot of work with the hunger program that is a spot where the female day laborers wait. And I was just curious if there had been outreach to that community through the various social groups that work with them to make sure that they know the construction is coming, etc.
I'm not aware of if that outreach happened. I'm not sure if
I guess I would just then put whoever's in charge of project, put that on a list of outreach that should be done, because it's a important community gathering point for these women.
Okay.
Ryan, that's really helpful. Thank you.
Hi, this is Rabbi Niederman. Do you hear me?
I hear you, but I don't see your hand up.
My hand, I don't know how to do that.
It's at the bottom of the panelist list, all the way at the bottom. You got a little hand on the right. Okay, go ahead, Rabbi Niederman.
Okay, I just wanted to ask, is this still coming to the Transportation Committee for comment?
I would imagine so, since they said they would love to have board approval on it.
Okay. Okay, I just wanted to make sure because I have some issues. I don't want to take the time now to reduce the takeaway time from much stuff that has to go on still, so we can raise it in the committee. Thank you very much.
Alice, if you want us to go to the Transportation Committee, we can certainly do that.
I think it would be appropriate to go, since she's looking for an approval from the board, which she said would be helpful. So I think it would be appropriate to go to the committee.
Okay, so, yep, so we just need that date from Eric when he has it, sooner, hopefully rather than later. And then I also want to know if Ryan actually had any kind of contact information for the group she was talking about. Maybe I could connect with her offline.
Ryan, would you like to chat with Rhonda offline and bring her up to date on the issues that you were speaking about over there? I guess she can't hear us now.
Okay, well.
Joe Gross, I see a check by your name. Did you have a question? I don't see your hand raised, but I see a check by your name.
The energy performance contract.
I'm here.
Joe Gross?
I have problems with my mic.
You gotta put your audio on.
I would like to know when the design and will be in place, when the time frame.
So we're expecting the design of this whole project to be completed in summer or fall of next year, so approximately a year from now. And then it would go to construction in spring 2023.
Can we have also islands like Marcy Avenue should be like a left turn, the last two cars should be like a left turn, the right side should be a right turn to reduce traffic. The same thing on Lee Avenue and Williamsburg Street.
On Marcy Avenue.
Marcy between Broadway and Division. On the left side, coming from Broadway to Marcy and Division, we should have like the last 2-3 cars have an island to left, the same thing to the right to reduce traffic. It's a lot of traffic.
So you're saying a right turn from Marcy onto Division, like the sharp right?
Yeah, like an island, no parking during the peak hours.
The what's being implemented at this corner is a curb extension. So this is going to be an expanded sidewalk area for pedestrians.
Okay. I'm talking about the other side coming down next to the housing development. The left side.
Oh, over here.
Yes, this block. But the left side, we should have an island if we want to turn left, and probably an island to turn right. That will reduce significant traffic because the traffic goes all the way from the Vision till South 4.
Okay. When you mean island, you mean like a left turn lane and a right turn lane?
Yeah. Like during the parking in different areas in Brooklyn, I see during the peak hours, we're gonna have to remove like 2 parking spaces during the daytime. It should be like a right turn only, a left turn only, but the other side, that will reduce significant traffic.
Okay. Well, we'll take note of that issue.
Does that conclude your question, Joe?
Yes.
Thank you. Simon Weiser? Simon? Simon's got his hand up. I don't know where he is. Are there any other questions? Are there any questions in the chat, in the Q&A, Sonia?
I don't see any.
Okay. Okay, thank you for your presentation. And like you said, you'll be in touch with Eric to set up a
Wait,
meeting.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
I came out.
Pardon me?
Can you provide Kevin Costa about budget details? Is this capitally funded? Do you hear me?
Yeah, this is a capital project.
Somebody please close your mic. You're breathing very heavy. Simon, are you on? Simon?
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Oh, okay. So I would like to know for 2 things. I know in the previous about the project manager about the division of Marcy. Originally, there was an old plan. It looks like it was scrapped. My question is, I think it had to do with this local schools that are nearby, where they study there, a couple of thousand children, and they pass this intersection of Marcy and Division. I'm just wondering, has DOT reached out to the local schools, to understand the safety concerns about the children crossing over this intersection?
I can answer that question. So there was initial outreach during the onset of this design to better understand how students travel through the neighborhood. And whenever we do put designs together, we spend a lot of time on site, just observing, noticing where youth traffic patterns might be and how they're interacting with the intersection. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, but also I see that the build out, with the blue section over there, will there be enough space for the school buses to turn? From Marcy onto Williamsburg Street West.
Yes, when we do these designs, we run turning analysis. Now we analyze turns at these locations to make sure that vehicles that need to make these turns are able to.
Okay, one more question. Could you please go back to the Lynch and Wallabot the diagram, please?
Yeah.
Can you show the screen, please?
Yeah, Lynch and Wallabot.
Right. Right. Okay. No more questions. I want to also reiterate the situation. Will this plan be online to be able to look at and study before the next transportation committee meeting?
We can distribute it ahead of the transportation committee meeting, certainly. Yeah, I'll coordinate with Rhonda.
No, but can it be done in advance so that we can just make sure that
Absolutely, yes.
we want to have a clear plan. We don't want it to end up like White Avenue that after removing certain barriers that are important for safety. So I want to make sure in advance that we could study all this.
So I don't know when the transportation committee meeting is going to be, but I would imagine that typically we can make the presentation available within a couple of days. Would that be right, Rochelle?
That's right.
So you, Simon, we'll share it with the community board within a couple of days. I mean, maybe
Madam Chair?
tomorrow, possibly.
It's Sonia.
Yes,
Madam Chair,
yes.
Mr. Costa wants to know how much is the project costing?
Who?
Mr. Kevin Costa put in the questions, how much is the project costing? What's the cost?
What's the cost of the project?
The entire project, we don't have a final cost yet as we're still designing it.
Thank you. Are there any other questions?
Madam Chair, this is William Big. I can't raise my hand. I do have a question, if I may ask.
Okay, William.
Thank you so much. I just want to know, are you working with Department of Environmental Protection to create like rain gardens? Because we just experienced Hurricane Ida, so we need whatever paths we can to reduce the flow of rainwater.
We are working with we are getting DEP input on drainage improvements, but it right now it's mainly just new catch basins. DEP has priority areas where they implement those measures, and as of now, this rain gardens are not in the scope of this project as of now.
Well, I sit on the transportation committee, so we need some more information. We had too many basements flooded, so I will ask that question when you present to the committee. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other questions? Thank you so much for your presentation. Have a good evening.
All right, thank you.
You're quite welcome. Next item, New York City Independent Redistricting. Iris McIntosh.
Yes, good evening. Thank you so much for allowing me to present tonight, Community Board 1. I do want to get the opportunity, if someone can give me the ability to share my screen so I can share this presentation with you all. So while that gets worked out, allow me to introduce myself. My name is Isis McIntosh Green. I serve as the Deputy Co-Executive Director on the Independent Redistricting Commission. And we have our public hearings coming up. I do want to familiarize yourselves a little bit with our website because at this point, this is where we all need you to go. So on our website, on the right-hand corner, you see this button that says sign up. So when you sign up, you would be getting onto our database. So that way we're contacting you with the upcoming public hearings. Specifically for the Brooklyn area, the public hearing is going to be at Medgar Evers College, but we will also allow for testimony to be provided virtually. That's going to be on Tuesday, November 16th at 3 p.m. And so it's important that when you come to the participate tab, you are able to submit written testimony. You're also able to sign up to attend our hearings in person. You're also able to send comments to the commissioners, or if you have draft maps for your communities of interest, you can also submit those maps here on our site. Further down, we have a tab called Draft Plans, where you're actually able to see there's a legend right here on the left-hand side. So the Redistricting Commission released two sets of maps. One set of maps are called letters, the other set of maps are called names. And so there were two sets released for the Congressional, the State Senate, and the State Assembly. Over here, you can actually layer certain maps. So what I'll do right now is I'll just unlayer every map except for the Congressional District Names map, and then layer it with the current boundary. And you'll be able to see and zoom in on certain areas. As I go into my presentation, I just want to really bring to you all's attention that, of course, unfortunately, we have lost one congressional district for our for this cycle. So we are moving from 27 down to 26 congressional members. So that may be the reason why maps look quite different, because we had to make up for the growth in the New York State population. Each district received essentially, back in 2010, districts were drawn, the 27 districts were drawn to have 716,000 approximately people in each district. That number has now gone up to almost 777,000. So essentially an additional 60,000 people. So the Redistricting Commission is actually on quite a tight timeline, even a quicker timeline than what was provided under the census. So back in 2014, voters made the decision that they wanted to take the initial mapping process out of the hands of the state legislature and put it in the hands of this independent body. And so really in 2020 are when the 10 commissioners were appointed to the commission. And it wasn't until this year that we actually received the funding to move forward with the constitutional duties, as well as actually being able to hire staff members like myself. One of the other important things is we were actually expecting that the census would have released its data back in February of this year. However, that information wasn't released until August 12th. So I do want to just remind you all that these are draft maps, and the whole purpose of this public engagement process is ensuring that now you all have an opportunity to respond to the maps and say what communities of interest maybe could have been kept together better, or what areas do you like, and what would you like to remain the same or change. So these are our 10 commissioners. Our chair is David Imamura out of Westchester, and our vice chair is Jack Martins. As we move, I just wanted to be able to show people kind of where a number of the congressional seats have moved to with regarding the reapportionment process. So as you see, back in 1951, New York actually was at its peak number of congressional representatives with 45 congressional seats. However, we've been losing seats ever since. And it's actually really because of the efforts of organizations that we didn't lose 2 seats this year. The rest of the state was expecting that New York was going to go from 27 down to 25. We were able to at least maintain one of those seats, but unfortunately it was we did lose that seat by less than 100 people. As we are moving into really figuring out what our state and congressional lines will look like for the next 10 years, it's crucial that you all, one, know what's going on and vocalize that, because we're on a very tight timeline with all of our public hearings ending the Tuesday before Thanksgiving. So if there was ever a time for you to get together with your community organizations, your community boards, and really a lot of the groups that helped get out the word about the census, it would be between now and Thanksgiving. I did want to also draw your attention to this ballot measure. And I don't get lost with all of the words, but essentially the way that this ballot measure is broken up, on the left-hand side, I'll just go through very quickly the language that'll be used. And this is going to be the first ballot measure that you see on the ballot in November. So it says, this proposed constitutional amendment would freeze the number of state senators at 63, amend the process for the counting of the state's population, delete certain provisions that violate the United States Constitution, repeal and amend certain requirements for the appointment of the co-executive directors of the Redistricting Commission, and amend the manner of drawing district lines for congressional and state legislative offices. Shall the proposed amendment be approved? And I think familiarizing yourself with the language is very important, because I'll speak for myself, but in past elections, I've known exactly who I was voting for down the ballot, and then I'll turn the ballot over and say, okay, now what is this? And let me decipher what this means and how to, what will be my best vote for it. There's actually a 5-page abstract on the New York State Board of Elections website if you would like a more thorough summary of this ballot measure. But in a quick summary, it will lock the number of New York State senators at 63. As you know, we already have 63 state senators, but our population is continuing to grow. Since the last census, we've had over 4% of population, a little more than 800,000 people. This would still ensure that regardless of that growth in population, that there would still only be 63 state Senate districts. It also affirms that total population will be the basis for districts. Once again, codifying something that New York has been doing really since the has been doing for decades, if not centuries. And so the reason why this is crucial is because with a lot of things that was going on when we were talking about the census process last year, there were concerns that perhaps non-citizens or Native Americans may be excluded from the process. This would affirm that regardless of what is happening at the Census Bureau, of the U.S. Census Bureau level, that New York State would continue to utilize total population for drawing districts. This also codifies another thing that New York has been doing for almost a decade now, which is the reassignment of prison population. It also deals with the redistricting timeline. Back in 2014, when this was passed, creating this independent commission, it provided that maps wouldn't have to be turned over to the legislature until January. However, at the time, primary elections were in September, giving a lot more time if there were any pending lawsuits, if the legislature rejected it. It gave at least enough time to be able to respond in that process. However, once we move primary elections to June to pair up with the federal election, now we're in a much tighter time crunch, right? We still have to provide the maps by January. However, petitioning and elections really start gearing up in February. So it's a very tight timeline. This will make sure that in future redistricting commissions, so basically 2031 and moving forward, that we would have to provide maps to the legislature by November. This will also eliminate something called block on border, which is a rule that had impacted how Senate districts had been drawn. Okay, this gets into a little bit about the population that I was talking to you all about. Probably no surprise to Community Board 1, but Kings County had the largest population growth in the state by more than 9.2%. Another thing we wanted to just be able to show, and this information is available on the U.S. Census website as well as our website, just kind of where the population loss and where the population movement has gone from across our counties in New York State. What we are realizing is that most of the population is moving or gravitating to urban centers and downstate. So for instance, Yonkers overtook Rochester as New York's third largest city. And now is the reason why I'm having this conversation with you all, to really drum up our public engagement. Over the summer, before any lines were drawn, the commissioners thought it'd be important to hear from the people on what they'd like to see, although that's not something that's actually in the Constitution. The Constitution requires initial maps to be drawn and then public engagement. But the commissioners thought that it was important to have this process prior to drawing maps. However, even though this was a virtual event, I just showed you information that Kings County has the largest population in the state. Kings County was actually put on the same day as the Richmond County hearing, and there were only 56 speakers. And I point that out because I'm hoping that now that you all are a little more familiar with our website, now that there are draft maps for you all to respond to, that you will begin to sign up and respond to these maps. This process only works if you work it. And at this point, if there are any other places or entities that you all suggest that the IRC connect with, we are definitely open to that. I did want to just show you all kind of where we are. We are kicking off these public hearings next week. And that's actually going to be starting up in Buffalo on October 20th. And I will also be sharing this information with the community board to distribute with you all who are interested. But as you see, Buffalo starts October 20th. Essentially, we're having 2 or 3 a week, all the way up until Thanksgiving. And once again, you are able to participate both virtually or in person. If you are participating in person, because of COVID, we are asking that you go on our website and you sign up to participate. So that way we can be in compliance with the universities and a number of the other locations that we are using. Also, I know this question may come up. You may wonder, okay, if I'm in a district that my address is in Brooklyn, but my district may go into Queens or my district may go into Manhattan. Which hearing should I show up at? Whichever one is most convenient for you. We will still be prepared with the maps and able to talk about your district that you're interested in. I will also say it's still a limited amount of time to testify. So please submit written testimony, submit your maps. Even if you aren't able to make it to one of these hearings, it's important that we hear from you. And once again, I just thank you so much for allowing me to speak with you all today.
Thank you, Ms. McIntosh. Are there any questions? Are there any questions? I don't see any hands. Steve Chesley, you got your hand up?
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair.
Yeah.
What on the ballot proposal number 1, what part of the rules is, or what is unconstitutional about the current redistricting rules in terms of violating the U.S. Constitution?
So it's not that something in it is unconstitutional. It's just that the legislature voted in the 2020 legislature and again in the 2021 legislature to make some amendments to the Constitution related specifically to the redistricting commission. And so that's what's on the ballot. It's not that we're out of compliance in any way. It's simply, this is the legislature's suggestion. And now I'm just making sure that you all know that it's on the ballot, and then it'll be up to you all to decide if this is or if it isn't the best decision.
Thank you. Are there any other questions? Are there any questions in the Q&A, Sonia?
No, I don't see any.
Okay, thank you so much, Ms. McIntosh. Have a good
Thank you. Please sign up, everyone.
Thank you. Okay, next item is liquor license. We have a few speakers signed up for the liquor license. Marie, could you read the liquor license list, please, of speakers?
Yes, Heather Rush, Mr. Abdul Malik, and Charlotte Bell. I'll turn on Heather first so she can speak.
Now? Hi.
Heather, can you hear?
Yes, can you hear
Yes,
me?
we hear you.
My name is Heather Rush. I'm a resident community board number 1, and I also hold a liquor license here, which is not up for renewal. I am here to ask the community board's help in dealing with a neighbor of mine who is not responsibly handling their liquor license, and I have exhausted all other options. Can you hear me?
We can hear you.
Okay. Yes. So there is a bar next to my residence by the name of Meek Bar. It goes, the LLC is Black Squirrel Crew LLC. And they have been allowing people to drink on their sidewalk. They haven't been policing the crowds outside their business. And those crowds have drifted in front of our apartment building and made a kind of an unsanitary and, starting to feel an unsafe situation. We've contacted the police. I've contacted our community affairs officers. We have reached out to Mika and asked them to fix the situation. As a liquor license holder myself, I understand how important it is to be responsible member of the community, and I'm not getting that kind of response from them. So their liquor license is due for renewal on May 22nd, 2022. And I don't know when their community board hearing is up, but I am asking the community board to not renew their liquor license or put amendments in their liquor license that they will be compelled to comply with the law. Thank you.
Thank you.
Abdul?
Okay, there I am. All right, cool. So I took over the lease recently at 66 Greenpoint Avenue. I saw a need in the city, or not in the city, but in the neighborhood for a place where people can actually dance. There's very few places where you can actually, for lack of a better term, dance in Greenpoint. And also, there aren't any places, to the best of my knowledge, that are Black owned in Greenpoint. And so I took the opportunity to negotiate with the landlord and get a lease. I'm applying for a liquor license. Of course, there's the 500-foot rule, but we're applying under the public benefit of increasing diversity in Greenpoint. There's a hearing on the 26th. I have, all the signatures pretty much of the block. I have a lot of community support. Probably, many people have expressed support for the project. And I'm personally bankrolling it. I'm an engineer, work at LinkedIn, and just helping to bring something new to Greenpoint. So if there's any questions, if there's any, if anybody has comments, I'm here to answer those questions now or via email or in person.
Thank you. Next person is Charlotte Bell. Charlotte? Charlotte Bell?
Thank you. I was muted. Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Great, excellent. Thanks everyone for giving me some time to speak. I'm actually here to speak regarding the same business as Heather Rush, who just spoke. I am a neighbor of Heather's, and we have been dealing with this out of control bar, Bar Mika at 25 Thames Street for almost 2 years, I believe. And Heather very eloquently explained some of the issues that we've been dealing with. So regarding the bar patrons spilling out onto the sidewalk, and then not really managing their patrons. So I'll just speak to the fact that the bar also totally disregards the city's noise code. They have a large outdoor area where they host DJs and bands and comedy nights and singers, and they have these events outside and they go past 10 p.m. They've consistently done this. There are numerous complaints from members of the community, by neighbors in this building, with the precinct 311. And so you can see those complaints. And the most egregious was on September 27th. There was a band with a horn section. They played until midnight. And it's clear that these owners are either incapable or not interested in managing their business, and that their staff is not equipped to manage the events that they hold in a way that is in compliance with city code and respectful of the community and the neighbors. So I am also here to request that the SLA committee does not renew their liquor license when it comes up for renewal in May of 2022. Thank you for your time.
Sarah Epler?
Hi, thank you so much for hearing me. I am also here to talk about Mika Bar, as I am also a neighbor of theirs and dealing with the noise, the trash, and the patrons. And my apartment is actually in the building that's closest, one of the closest to them. We have their patrons stumbling around our windows and looking in. We've cleaned up trash. We've had to deal with vomit, everything you can kind of imagine. My husband and I have gone to talk to the owners of Mika a few times. We went through, we talked to their owners, their bartenders, any event staff. We also went through mend mediation with the bar, and we still haven't had any relief. We also put in 311 complaints, I believe, since the first month they were opened, which was July 2021. And still, again, no relief for neighbors. The part that bothers me as well is that the bar owner has told me more than once, and the bartenders, that they don't have the staff to handle people coming on the street, watching the doors, snow removal, those kinds of things. So I'm also asking the board to not renew the liquor license or put in provisions.
Thank you.
Thank you, Marie.
That's all that we have for the liquor licenses.
Okay, that concludes, excuse me, that concludes our public session. Now we'll go into our regular board meeting. Can we have a moment of silence, please? Thank you. Can I have the roll call, please, Jerry?
Gina Argento,
Here.
Bogdan Bakarowski,
Here.
Lisa Bamonte,
Here.
Gina Barros,
Here.
Tion Brooks, Eric Brizadas. Eric. Tom Burrows.
Here.
Iris Cabrera.
Here.
Bill Caponegro.
Here.
Frank Carbone. Stephen Chesler.
Here.
Michael Chiricella.
Here.
Teresa Cinciata. Giovanni D'Amato.
Here.
Aaron Drinkwater.
Here.
Arthur Dibidowski. Arthur Dibinowski. T. Willis Elkins.
Here.
Julia Amanda Foster. Chairperson Fuller.
Here.
Joel Goldstein. Joel Gross. Katie Denny Hurwitz.
Here.
Sonia Iglesia.
Here.
Moisha Indig. Rosanna Kaminsky.
I'm here.
Ryan Coonan.
Here.
Joel Landau. Marie Leanza.
Here.
Abraham Leibovitz. Yo Lowe. Trina McKeever.
Here.
Sante Maselli.
Here.
Toby Moskowitz. Martin Needleman. Rabbi Niederman.
Here.
Karen Nieves.
Here.
Mario Domerick.
I'm here.
Janice Peterson.
Here.
Dana Racklin.
Here.
Ella Sable.
Yes. I'm
Thank
here.
you. Isaac Sofer. Robert Solano. Del Teague.
Here.
Tommy Torres. William Vega. Maria Vieta. Stephen Weidberg.
Here.
Simon Weiser.
Here.
Thank you.
Jerry, sorry, Arthur Dabanovsky here. Sorry, I apologize for that.
And Jerry, did you hear Eric? He just wanted to confirm he's having trouble with his speaker.
Eric Brizadas is on.
Yes.
Thank you. And that was Mr. Dibinowski.
Yes, sorry.
Thank you.
I was saying yes, but I think you didn't hear me.
And did Maria Vieira respond? Maria? No, thank you. "34 members, Madam Chair."
Thank you, Jerry. Can I have a motion to approve the agenda?
Motion by Phil Caponegro.
I second that, Iris Cabrera.
Made by Phil, second by Iris. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Against? Against? Abstentions? Motion carried. Can I have
Tommy
an approval-
Torres here.
Can I have a motion to approve the minutes?
I make a motion, Bożena Kamiński.
I, William Vega, second.
Bozinski and Vega, all in favor?
Aye.
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 Aye. Aye.
Against? Abstentions? Motion carried. Thank you.
Jerry, I'm here.
Jerry, it's Eric Brizadas. I'm here.
We got the word, Eric. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Tommy Torres here.
We heard you, Tommy. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Public session, can we have the speakers for the public session, please?
Alice, none of the people who signed up are on the call. I went through the list and they are not there.
You said none of the people signed up, the speakers on the call?
No,
Not at all?
no. Now, there are a couple of call-ins. Do you want me to turn them on to ask them if they want to speak?
Yes.
Caller? With the 646 number? 261? You're unmuted. Do you have something you wanted to ask or speak about? Okay, we'll move to the next person. And this is for 91752. All right, you're muted again. And that's it. That's all it's answering the call.
Okay, so none of the speakers that signed up to speak on the Meeker Avenue project, none of them here?
None of them are on the call. I went through the list every few minutes and no one is on here.
Okay, well, we'll move right on then. Committee reports, Bella Sable, Women's Committee.
Can I say a few words?
Yes.
Okay. This is about the women's swim group, neighborhood women's swim group.
Yes.
We wanted to ask, the timing is not well good.
No, these are.
I'm not sure. I'm not even prepared because I wasn't sure if I'll be called.
I didn't pick anybody out of the audience. These are all people.
Bella, we're in the committee reports and I'm calling you first. Bella, we're into committee reports and I'm calling you first.
These people from.
I think that Jen is going to have her meeting now Thursday the 14th.
Gail said to me if they are calling in on the phone to address them.
Maria, we can hear you.
Because she asked me to do that before the meeting.
Maria, Jared, we can hear you.
Okay. All right.
Bella, you're saying that Jan is going to address this issue?
Yes, we are going to discuss our issues at that meeting, Thursday, the 14th of October. And,
okay.
Because some things just don't work out now. I'm not trying to take anybody's time, but the timing, the hours, we need one of the major issues is that we need earlier hours because it interferes with the people with the women that work. So like midday 11 to 1 doesn't work, 11 to 12 doesn't work. And also 11 to 12 is just 1 hour, which doesn't make sense at all. We need like at least 2 hours. On Monday, 2 hours, and on Wednesday, 2 hours. And of course, if you can give us some on Friday, it would be greatly appreciated. that's it for now. We're gonna discuss the rest on Thursday.
Thank you, Bella. Eric,
Thank you.
transportation, Eric?
Hello?
Yes,
Hi, can you hear me?
yes.
Okay, sorry. I'm in the kitchen. Can't hear anything. Okay, so the report is, for the sake of time, is as written. We did have 3 motions that need approval from the committee. Sorry, bear with me one moment, please. Okay, so the first motion.
You got a bad echo, Eric.
Can you hear me now? Is that better?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, so the first motion related to 3 intersections, Consolie and in Manhattan by PS 132. The other one was Skillman and Leonard, and Jewel and Norman. So the committee sorry, so the committee voted for recommends that the board draft a letter to NYC DOT in support of all way stop controls and all safety measures available to NYC DOT, including but not limited to bike corrals, curb extensions, bulb outs, daylighting, etc., to address unobserved unsafe conditions at the following intersections: Norman Avenue and Jewel Street, Skillman Avenue and Leonard Street, Manhattan Avenue and Consolie Street. It was seconded, it was approved unanimously without abstention, and 3 board members, non-board members, voting in the affirmative. So I need a vote.
Okay, there's a motion on the floor. Can we have a roll call vote, please?
Gina Argento,
Yes.
Agna Bakarowski,
Yes.
Lisa Bamonte,
Yes.
Ina Barros,
Yes.
Tian Brooks, Eric Brazetis,
Yes.
Tom Burrows,
Yes.
Iris Cabrera,
Yes.
Phil Caponegro,
Yes.
Frank Carbone, Stephen Chesler,
Yes.
Michael Chiricello,
Yes.
Teresa Cinciata, Giovanni D'Amato,
Yes.
Aaron Drinkwater,
Yes.
Arthur Dibinowski, P. Willis Elkins,
Yes.
Julia Manda Foster. Julia has given me a thumbs up for yes. Joel Goldstein, Joel Gross, Katie Denny Horowitz,
Yes.
Sonia Iglesia, Moisha Indig, Bozena
Sonia,
Kaminsky.
yes.
Yes, Jerry.
Thank you, Bozena. Ryan Coonan,
Yes.
Yoel Landau, Marie Lianza,
Yes.
Abraham Leibovitz, Yoel Lowe, Trina McKeever,
Yes.
Sante Maselli, Toby Moskowitz, Martin Needleman, Rabbi Niederman,
Yes.
Karen Nieves,
Yes.
Mario Damark,
Yes.
Janice Peterson,
Yes.
Dana Racklin, Bella Sable,
Yes.
Isaac Sofer, Robert Solano, Del Teague.
Jerry, did you hear me? It's Dana. Yes.
Thank you, Dana. Del Teague.
Yes.
Thank you. Tommy Torres,
Yes, Tommy.
William Vega,
Yes.
Maria Vieira, Stephen Weidberg,
Yes.
Simon Weiser,
Yes.
Jerry, did you get Sonia Iglesias?
Jerry, Frank Carbone here, yes.
Jerry.
Yes, Sonia. Yeah, I have you, Sonia. Thank you.
Thank you.
Frank Carbone here, Jerry. Yes.
So noted, Mr. Carbone. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thirty in the affirmative, motion carries.
Thank you, Jerry.
Thank you, everyone. The second motion, we had a follow-up conversation to the presentation about the Grant Street Bridge. A lot of people voiced their concern about connecting Maspeth Avenue with a temporary bridge as a rerouting for the traffic while the bridge is being reconstructed. We agreed that that is the worst idea. And since DOT doesn't seem to be too in favor of it, we want them to not take it out of their planning now while it's early. And so we had a motion that the Transportation Committee recommends that the board draft a letter to NYC DOT and the Grand Street Bridge Reconstruction Project leaders to vehemently oppose any consideration of the construction of a bridge on Maspeth Avenue across the Newtown Creek as part of its traffic mitigation plan during the reconstruction of the Grant Street Bridge. Also approved unanimously with no abstentions and 3 non-board members voting in the affirmative. Need a motion.
I make
Motion.
a motion.
Sonia.
And William Vega seconds.
Sonia and William Vega, roll call vote, please.
Gina Argento,
Yes.
Bogdan Bakarowski,
Yes.
Lisa Bamonte,
Yes.
Gina Barros,
Yes.
Leon Brooks, Eric Brazedas,
Yes.
Tom Burrows,
Yes.
Iris Cabrera,
Yes.
Bill Caponegro,
Yes.
Frank Carbone,
Yes.
Stephen Chesler,
Yes.
Michael Chirichella,
Yes.
Teresa Cinciata, Giovanni D'Amato,
Yes.
Aaron Drinkwater,
Yes.
Arthur Dibinowski, T. Willis Elkins,
Yes.
Julia Amanda Foster. Julia? Thumbs up, thank you. Joel Goldstein, Joel Gross, Katie Denny Horowitz,
Yes.
Sonia Iglesia,
Yes.
Moisha Indig, Rosanna Kaminsky,
Yes.
thank you. Ryan Coonan,
Yes.
thank you. Yoel Landau, Marie Lianza,
Yes.
Abraham Leibovitz, Yoel Lowe, Trina McKeever,
Yes.
Sante Maselli,
Yes.
Toby Moskowitz, Martin Needleman, Rabbi Niederman,
Yes.
Karen Nieves,
Yes.
Mario Damrock,
Yes.
Janice Peterson,
Yes.
Dana Racklin,
Yes.
Ella Sable,
Yes.
thank you. Isaac Sofer, Robert Solano, Del Teague,
Yes.
Tommy Torres, William Vega,
Yes. Yes, Tommy.
And William, yes.
Maria Vieira, Stephen Weidberg,
Yes.
Simon Weiser,
Yes.
.33 in the affirmative, motion carries.
Thank you, Jerry.
Okay, so the last item came up as in old business. Some of you have seen the conversation between Vice Chair Weiser, Rabbi Niederman, former board member Klagsbald, and DOT about the Jersey barriers being installed on Wythe Avenue and the construction problems that have been happening there. So there are 2 separate issues with that. One is the Jersey barriers and the installation, but then the other issue, which Simon brought up, was the left turn onto Penn once you get, or sorry, under Williamsburg Street East, once you get to that turn. Simon is very concerned about safety at that turn. There are supposedly there are former paint markings that used to make it easier for pedestrians to cross there and to not conflict with the left turn vehicles, but Simon, I'm sure some of you saw today, posted up about a minor pedestrian involved incident. So there was a little bit of confusion after the meeting about the language of this motion, but Jerry checked in and said that we have to vote on the motion up or down. And so I don't know if it's, I'm going to just read the motion and we can have discussion on the motion if Simon wants to clarify. But let me just read the motion and then Simon can clarify in discussion on the motion, if that's all right with the if that's okay with the board. So the motion is that the Transportation Committee recommends that the board draft a letter to NYC DOT to address safety concerns at Williamsburg Street East and Wythe Avenue by adding additional paint markings or other appropriate measures to resolve potential conflicts between pedestrians and left turning vehicles. And that was approved unanimously with no abstentions and 2 non-board members voting in the affirmative. So that is the motion. Somebody wants to make a motion to.
Like to second it.
Okay, so, okay, motion and second. Is there?
Wait, there has to be a motion first. I'll make the motion.
I made the motion.
Okay.
Second, Phil Camponegro.
I second, Bogdan second.
Okay, motion been made, motion made by Chester and second by Capernago. Roll call vote, please.
Gina Argento,
Yes.
Bogdan Bakarowski,
Yes.
Lisa Bamonte. Lisa Bamonte, Gina Barros,
Yes.
Tion Brooks, Eric Berzadas,
Yes.
Tom Burrows,
Yes.
Iris Cabrera,
Yes.
Phil Camponegro,
Yes.
Frank Carbone,
Yes.
Stephen Chesler,
Yes.
Michael Chirichella, Teresa
Yes.
Cinciata, Giovanni D'Amato,
Yes.
Aaron Drinkwater,
Yes.
Arthur Davidowski, T. Willis Elkins,
Yes.
Julia Amanda Foster. Thumbs up, thank you. Joel Goldstein, Joel Gross, Katie Denny Horowitz,
Yes.
Sonia Iglesia,
Yes.
Moisha Indig, Bozena Kaminsky,
Yes.
thank you. Brian Coonan,
Yes.
Yoel Landau, Marie Leanza,
Yes.
Abraham Leibovitz, Yoel Lowe, Trina McKeever,
Yes.
Sante Maselli,
Yes.
Toby Moskovitz, Martin Needleman, Rabbi Niederman, Karen Nieves,
Yes.
Maria Domerick,
Yes.
Janice Peterson,
Yes.
Dana Racklin, Bella Sable, Isaac Sofer, Robert Solano, Del Teague,
Yes.
Tommy Torres,
Yes.
William Vega,
Yes.
Maria Viera, Stephen Weidberg, Simon Weiser,
Yes.
Joel Gross, yes.
$29 in the affirmative, motion carries.
Thank you, Jerry.
Okay, thank you. We're trying to work out a date for the next Transportation Committee meeting. Usually we're the first Tuesday of the month, but it's election day that day. So I'm working with Marie in the office to find a good date that doesn't conflict with the holidays and all that good stuff. So stay tuned and thanks for your patience with me. Thanks. Have a good night.
Make a point.
Yes,
And I
thank you, Eric.
think
Who that want to make a point?
Eric, and I'd like to test appropriate because of this issue with this DOT plan, and I had spoke to DOT personnel. and I asked them that in the future, any kind of project, even this project, they should come to the community board, even though it doesn't conflict with removing parking spaces. As we see now with this plan of this putting the barriers for the bike lane, it has some issues with removing safety painted barriers on the left side of White Avenue. So what if we could get a vote for that anytime any project is done in the confinement of CB1, if they should come to community board and show the full plan so that it doesn't conflict with other issues of safety and other issues. Could I get a vote for that? Can I make a motion?
A part in the agenda where there's new business or something who's not a committee chair, this wasn't spoken.
We can't hear you, Ryan.
I'm saying that can a member just after the committee?
We can't hear you. Does somebody want to make a motion on that issue?
I think what Ryan was questioning is after the report's over, can a board member just offer up a new motion on the committee, or it should be like new business or something?
Well, Eric has said, asked Simon if he wanted to discuss it after he read the motion, and he didn't allow him to discuss it.
Well, this is a new motion. This is just generally. This is not to do, well, first of all, this project, but and generally, generally when they CB1, any project anywhere in CB1, they should come to the board, and not just because because there are many issues have to be addressed, not just parking issues. As I said before, safety issues, pedestrian issues, all kind of issues. So that's why it has nothing to do with this particular project. Plus, this particular project, as we see, is also flawed because of the situation of the pedestrian safety. So, that would also include, I suggest, this project as well. So I have a motion on the table to ask DOT to come back to CB1, to the Transportation Committee, or individually, or to the full board, any plan they are planning to do in the confinement of CB1, as a general rule.
Somebody gonna, Simon, look like you don't have a motion on it. So.
If we allow, I will make the motion, Iris Cabrera.
Is there a second?
Phil Caponegro.
Iris and Phil, can I have a roll call vote, please?
But just to be clear, we're gonna send a letter asking them to present a whole plan when they're gonna do any renovation, any construction, no? Simon?
Say it again?
So the motion is to send a letter to DOE to make sure that they present a full plan next time, not like a piece.
Well, on the current plan before they finalize it. Also, on any project they do in the confinement of CB1, they should come to CB1, even though they're not removing parking. Because just for clarification, I brought up the issue with the DOT commissioner, and they said, well, this project, they're not removing any parking, so that's
Simon,
why we don't need to come to
on the floor, and it's been made in
Right.
second. Can I have a roll call vote?
Good discussion on the motion. I mean, it just seems so broad what you're saying. I mean, if someone's going to they're going to install a bike corral or, a bike rack, and, are they coming to the board for that? I mean.
They do. Yes, they do come every time.
For one little
They do
bike
come
rack in front of them?
Yes, they always come, and that's why that was very not appropriate for them not to come with this plan that they just installed without coming to the hearing what the CB1 members have to say. They come for every single corral. When they move or they put a new one, they advise the community board and they make a presentation. So this shouldn't be different. I mean, any kind of work, not just this one.
I'm not understanding. So I'm sorry, this is Karen. I'm not understanding. So any kind, if they paint, like do an uncontrolled crosswalk, any kind of construction? I mean, I'm not understanding. I think it needs to be more
Defined.
defined. Thank you. Because that is too broad. Putting up a sign in what?
Can this not be talked about in the committee meeting and then brought back to the full board when it's more fleshed out?
Well, this issue is pressing now because we want to make sure we know the full plan of this Jersey barriers before they're installed, and it's not a safety issue for the pedestrians crossing over Williamsburg Street East. So that's the issue of today.
Was the safety issue discussed in the committee meeting before Eric brought it to us tonight?
Well, the chair must mention that before.
Excuse me?
I would feel more comfortable voting after hearing from DOT on their process and the steps that they take to come to the community board. And if something's missing,
We have a motion on the floor, so we can vote the motion up or down. It seems that people, have different opinions about this, so we can vote the motion up or down. You can vote yes or no, and vote it out or vote it in.
Can I just
We
add
do have a
one thing to
motion
the
on the
discussion
floor.
on the motion, Dialis?
Pardon me?
Just one more thing on the motion.
Yeah, okay, Eric.
I agree with Karen that the motion is too broad to be any binding really in any way on DOT. I mean, they can choose to ignore it, but I also like Dana's suggestion. I'm very happy to put it on early on the agenda for the next transportation committee, and then we can get a more structured motion to bring back to the board at the next full board. I understand Simon's concern that this is pressing, but we all know how DOT works, and we have to be super specific in how we ask for stuff from them, and that's just my 2 cents.
That makes
That's a
sense.
good analysis. So can we vote the motion up or down now?
Yeah, Alice, this is Del Teague. I really want to join with Ryan and ask if procedurally this is even.
We cannot hear you, Del. I can't.
I join with Ryan because I think this is procedurally incorrect. This is not something. I don't think that it's proper for someone to just get up during the committee reports and just make a motion that has nothing to do with the reports that are being made.
Well, Eric has said after he read his motion, he was going to give Simon a chance to talk about his point on that, and he never gave him a chance. He read it and then he asked for a vote.
But Simon said have separate motions. It's not on that item that Eric was talking about.
Well, it's pertaining to the same thing. But like I said, there's a motion on the floor. We can vote it up or we can vote it down, but there's a motion on the floor. My opinion, I think you should vote for the motion and take it to committee and get a more better definition of what you want them to do and when you want them to do it, because it's kind of broad.
Yeah, Dialis, it's Phil Caponegro. Could we I'd like to remove my second on that so we can send it to committee and we don't have to waste
time. Okay, so Phil is withdrawing his second. Iris?
Yes, I will do the same thing.
Okay, the motion has been withdrawn. So take it up at the committee level, Simon.
Excellent.
Okay. We have no more reports except Parks minute as written. Is Vinny here? It will give us an update. Vinny's not here, I would imagine. We have, I think we had somebody from Senator Schumer's office that wanted to speak. Marie, did they get on?
They didn't sign in.
They didn't sign in?
No.
Do we have any other Alexis?
Not that signed in to speak.
Okay, well, that completes our agenda. Is there any new business?
Wow.
Is there any old business?
Chair,
Chair.
this is Simon. Chair Simon
Yes.
again. Can I talk?
Madam
Yes.
Chair, excuse me. I'm sorry. I have someone in the questions that wanted to make an announcement. Sonia Vangas? Vangas, just an announcement.
From where?
Oh no, she didn't put where she's from. Maybe she'll
Because
type
this is
it
the
in.
board meeting. We've had all the speakers that signed up to speak. I don't know. This is their,
Yeah.
we know, their electeds that they want.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, Phil, you were saying something, or was it Simon?
Simon.
Simon.
Okay, so going back to the previous motion. So I understand, I understand everybody's concern, which makes sense in a certain way. I just want to maybe pinpoint what my point is. I would like the current project that is being put in on White Avenue, the barriers, the Jersey barriers. The basic project is, I would say, 75% final. So I would request the DOT comes before the board before they do the final plan of actual installing the barriers. Because once they install the barriers, then we'll have an issue with the safety of the left painted barriers. So my motion would be to request specifically on this project, before it's finalized, they should come back to the board, show the plan, and then go forward with the plan. So that's specifically on this plan, not broadly.
I'm sorry,
Can I get a motion for that?
wait,
No, we're not,
discussion- Didn't we ask for the Jersey barriers? Didn't we beg DOT for safety and to get permanent barriers?
Yes. We're not talking.
Yes.
We're not talking about. We're not. Our issues today is not talking
Why
about
would we ask them to come back when this is something that we requested them to do?
because of from one side they're doing a safety, and on the other side they're creating a safety concern. As I showed you today, you got today a video of a pedestrian being hit at that intersection. Now, once those barriers on the left side are gone, it will be it became a much worse condition, and the pedestrians and the autos don't see each other, and it's become much worse condition. So before, they should come up with a plan that should work from both sides. We're not talking about not installing the barriers. The barriers should be, but before they finalize it, to make sure that all safety concerns from both sides are covered. The bikes and also the pedestrians. That's all. We're not talking here about not installing the barriers. That's all. I mean, they originally told me that the travel lane going down White Avenue would become wider. But what they did, they made it become even it become more smaller. I mean, not wider. So that's the issue today. So before they finalize the plan, they should come and show exactly the safety that they will be installing for the bikes and the pedestrians. That's more specific. My request today.
This is on Eric's report. On the Wyeth and
well, Eric spoke about Eric spoke about they should put in just the barriers, the painted barriers. I'm saying that fine, but before they install the Jersey barriers on the right side of the street, they should come back to they should come to the community board and show their plan that will cover the safety of the bikers and the pedestrians. That's all. We're not talking about disinstalling. There's a plan. The CB1 voted for the Jersey barriers. Okay, they will be installed, but before it's finalized, just come to the community board. Make sure that the pedestrians' safety will not be at risk.
So you're making another motion?
Right.
Can I?
Now it's not broad. It's not broadly. It's specific.
Yeah, I still think that we should take this up at committee first and be.
Yes.
I agree
Sorry.
with Karen.
I
We
agree.
need
We
to
have,
talk to this to the Transportation Committee, hashed out,
Yes.
before we bring it to the board.
Bella, you have a question?
Yes, I'd like to make a comment in reference to this, that it's not enough maybe that they come to the community board. Some officials should participate in those areas personally and explain by hand what's gonna, how they are planning to finish this, the intersection over there. Because seeing in person is a much better way than just the community board meeting. You are actually there and it can be explained.
Go back to the committee and they'll make the decision if you want them to come back or not. So
Yes.
Well, no, well, the thing is that by the time by next transportation committee meeting, it will be installed. That's the issue. As I said, it's 80% final. Okay, so by the time next transportation committee, that's why it's so important that this project is put on hold till they don't come to the community board. You know that. I mean, it could be fast. If we vote on it today, they'll come by next transportation committee. They will come, and we'll vote by next full board. So that's even makes sense. I'm just trying to speed it up. Once they install the barriers, there's a safety concern for the pedestrians. That's the issue here today. So I just need a second on the motion.
You need somebody to make the motion. Is there a second on this motion? You have no second on the motion, Simon. Okay, is there anything else? Any old business? If
Can I
not,
make another suggestion, or everything has to go, this about a different intersection? Can I, just a short comment? I was in that area today. There is a gasoline station called Citco, that's by Penn and Kent. And I had seen this already, this problem for a long time, but since I was there today, I even more so see that a little of it needs to be shaven off, like a foot or 1.5 feet from the curb should be shaven like backward, and the traffic can more easily proceed to the highway, because the traffic is always terrible over there. There's always congestion, there's no light. And if just it could be moved backwards a little, the cars, the trucks, there are many trucks going there, like the long trucks. It's hard for them to turn over there, come and go from the highway side, and they want to turn back. They want to make a right over there into the highway at that at Citco. I mean, if people are aware, it's Rabbi Niederman should be familiar with that place, because it's close to where his office is, and there's always traffic, and it's hard. I see it's very hard to make that curb. I don't know if this belongs to what part of the city it belongs to, but I think it should be looked into.
Thank you, Bella. This issue will be taken up at the Transportation Committee meeting. Is there anything else? I thank everybody for their participation.
Madam Chair.
Yes.
I'm so sorry. I thought this was important. The lady I was talking about that wanted to speak, the CCRB, talking about hosting a public board meeting tomorrow at 4:00 regarding the community relationship. She put it in the Q's and A's, the link over police community relations, which I think it's very important. So I know she put it in the Q and A's.
Sonia?
People get the link. Yeah.
Sonia, I could help you out here, because I just so
I'm
everybody
trying to read it,
understands.
yes. Thank you.
The
CCRB is the Civilian Complaint Review Board. They're who you can make a complaint with about the NYPD if you yourself are experiencing police abuse or misconduct, or if you witness police abuse or misconduct, you can call and make a complaint with them. They're hosting a discussion about police community relationships and civilian oversight. So if you want to participate or need help with any, they put the registration link in. If you need help with accessibility, there's an email for you to get on there. Again, the CCRB stands for Civilian Complaint Review Board, and that's for you to make a complaint against a police officer for use of force. It could be something like a discourteous comment, or putting their hands on you, or anything like that. Or it could be if you are a witness to it. So for example, over the summer, if you saw something at one of the protests, maybe you weren't personally affected, but you witnessed it, you could do that. So that's the Civilian Complaint Review Board, and all the information is in the Q&A located on the side.
Tell to send it to the
Dana.
office. Tell to send it to the, or send the information to the office, Sonia. Thank you, Dana. Okay, if there's nothing else, can I have a motion to adjourn? And I
Madam
thank
Chair.
everybody for
Vinnie,
their participation, and we're getting out at a
Aye.
reasonable hour.
Aye.
Great meeting.
We
Aye.
deserve a little break after last time.
I can't
Amen.
believe it.
Thank
Oh
you.
my God.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Good night,
everybody. Good
everybody.
night.
Happy Halloween.
Oh yeah, be safe.
Thank you.
Bye.
Likewise.
Night,
Have a
everyone.
good evening, everybody.
Adios.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.